October 15th, 2010, from the stylish high-tech underground studios of Ribbit Media in delightfully crisp Warwick, Rhode Island, this is NewsUndies. For October 15th, 2010, this is NewsUndies, all the news that shouldn't be news. I'm Paul Torville with these headlines. Karzai claims Taliban not so bad once you get to know them. Study, over 52 means grumpy. Of course, there are noisy kids on the lawn. Jaded Fox News reports successful Spaceship Two test boring. Google's gonna drive my car? Carl Palladino. Stunning bigot, maybe? Christine O'Donnell. Hey gang, it's time for celebrity birthdays once again. I got my cake hat on, let's rock. For Saturday the 9th, Five-ish Finkel and John Lennon, dead. For Sunday the 10th, James Clavell, dead, and Peter Coyote. For Monday the 11th, David Morse and Daryl Hall. For Tuesday the 12th, Art Clokey, dead, and Luciano Pavarotti, dead. For Wednesday the 13th, George Osmond, dead, and Marie Osmond. Odd? Yes. For Thursday the 14th, E.E. Cummings, dead, and Roger Moore. For Friday the 15th, Lee Iacocca and Penny Marshall. That's celebrity birthdays. I'm Paul Torville, and I'm done! We'll have stories in detail right after this. It seems I've acquired something of a reputation as a shameless self-promoter. I don't know how that could have happened. In any event, there's something for nearly everyone in each weekly NewsUndies episode, including opposing viewpoints with Pig and Sheep, Moose, Weintraub, Sports Half Minute, and the exclusive pastcast weather for your part of the country. Unless, of course, you happen to live in Alaska or Hawaii, in which case you're on your own. In any event, NewsUndies, weekly show, comes out on Fridays. Check it out at www.newsundies.com or on YouTube. Meet Karen Handel, now a former hopeful for the Republican gubernatorial nomination in Georgia. Former hopeful. She's out of the race now. I guess that makes her a hopeless. Anyhow, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports that Handel's campaign paid a charter airline $92,000 to fly Sarah Palin to a rally at a hotel the campaign spent $13,000 to secure. Palin's appearance elevated Karen Handel's election performance to a narrow loss. So, when you blow that kind of dough to get your party's favorite national politelebrity to come and stump for you, and the best you can do is narrow the margin of your defeat, maybe politics isn't for you, sweetie. Try this on for size. You're 14 and you have a nose stud, which is contrary to your school's dress code. They suspend you. What to do? Call in the ACLU. It turns out that Ariana Iacano, a student at Clayton High School in North Carolina, is a member of the Church of Body Modification. Yes, that's right. I said it. The Church of Body Modification. Ariana's mother, Nikki, joined the COBM in 2009, and Ariana joined this year. Okay, so religious freedom and all, as founder of the Church of No Thanks, I get that. But seriously? Seriously? All right. Oksana Grigorieva. Okay, so the story apparently is that Oksana, that's the 40-year-old songwriter, pianist, homewrecker who stole Mel Gibson's heart away from his wife of 29 years, is now accusing him of assaulting her in his Malibu home. She wasn't getting a whole lot of believing, so now she's come out saying that there was this guy, Tony. That's all. Just Tony. There when Mel allegedly assaulted her. Tony was definitely there, she says. He's a driver and bodyguard for Mel. She's absolutely certain of it. Turns out there's no evidence yet to support her claim about Tony. So, you know, don't get me wrong. Clearly, Mel has some issues. The Passion of the Christ! Sorry. But you might have to take this one on your heroically cleft chin, Oksana. It's been known for years that fast food in general, and McDonald's food specifically, is not great for you, and if you make it your regular diet, the negative consequences can stack up pretty quickly. Who is responsible for the negative health impacts of these products? Here are Pig and Sheep with their thoughts.
Obviously, it's the consumer who's responsible to exercise the necessary restraint, to eat fast food only as an occasional treat and not as a regular diet. Never mind that it's convenient, quick, available nearly everywhere, cheap, and neurochemically addictive. It's up to you, America, to resist the ceaseless onslaught of advertising, go home and have a salad with vegetables you grew in your own garden.
These fast food companies are enormous corporate juggernauts and have laboratories where scientists labor to find the balance of salt, sugar, and fat that will entice you to keep coming back for more. You, I'm betting, do not have scientists or laboratories at your disposal to come up with a way to quiet your gnawing animal hunger for the things that are hard to come by in the wild but readily available in a Wendy's Baconator Triple. The real problem is that these companies do extensive research to know us better than we know ourselves and use that knowledge to kill us softly with French fries.
That's what Pig and Sheep think. What are your thoughts? Email them to ovcomments@newsundies.com. And now, here's Moose Weintraub with the Sports Half Minute.
Moose Weintraub Sports Half Minute. It's a whole half minute of sports. 30 seconds of sports. Moose Weintraub Sports Half Minute.
Here's your Sports Half Minute. I'm Moose Weintraub. While other ordinary bodily functions, like bile production, get little notice in the sports world, mustache growing is another matter altogether.
Moose Weintraub Sports Half Minute.
Thanks, Moose. Always a great report from Moose. NPR reported this week that an issue with Microsoft's Windows XP operating system, well, first of all, there's no valid excuse for running Windows XP at this point. None. If you have to run Microsoft Windows, please step into the modern era and get Windows 7. And if you don't have to run Microsoft Windows, give Ubuntu Linux a try. It's free, like legitimately legally free. Way more secure and way more easy to use than XP. Seriously. So for those of you still running XP, by default it does this stupid thing where if you can't find a Wi-Fi network to connect to, it just opens itself up as a Wi-Fi network, basically saying, "Come on over, my parents are in Cancun and they forgot to lock the liquor cabinet." That's what it's saying to all the other computers around. Unless, of course, you have shut this feature off manually or have Service Pack 3 installed. Yeah, I didn't think so. We'll have your exclusive pastcast weather and the final news roundup right after this.
You'll notice that when you watch NewsUndies, I'm always wearing a shirt from the Ursus Pacificus Kitsch Cave. Well, now you can too. You can help support NewsUndies by going to the Ursus Pacificus Kitsch Cave and getting some kitsch.
And now, here's your exclusive pastcast weather for the week ending Friday, October 15th, 2010. The Northeast saw sunny skies turning warm. In the Atlantic corridor, there was rain, then sunny, warm conditions. In the Appalachians, it was rainy, then sunny and warm. And that's your exclusive pastcast weather. Larry Wilcox. Alright, so this lonely YouTuber who goes by the handle Dominator PS3 takes a photo that NASA has published of two of Saturn's moons, one much smaller but very much in the foreground, and the other much larger but way in the background, and he cranks up the brightness and contrast, and what does he see? Brushstrokes, which are obviously covering something up. Dominator PS3's reasoned interpretation? Aliens. NASA is covering up some sort of alien something or other next to a moon of Saturn. Right. Emily Lakdwala of the Planetary Society, who claimed responsibility for the so-called alteration, explained that the Cassini spacecraft takes color pictures by shooting 3 successive black and white images through 3 different colored filters. Because of the time delay between the successive shots, the subjects move through the frame as the spacecraft zips by, with the nearer subject being displaced in the frame more than the distant one. It's like when you look out the window and there's trees near in the foreground and mountains in the background, and the trees whiz by but the mountains hardly move. It's kind of like that. Well, she was simply unifying the 3 shifted layers into one consistent image. Makes perfect sense. Dominator PS3 was not impressed. What else is new? Finally, and I do mean finally, we all saw this coming, didn't we? Well, maybe we didn't. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure I didn't see it coming, but in retrospect it explains a few things. Insane Clown Posse, a horror rap duo composed of Joseph Bruce, whose stage name is Violent J, and Joseph Utzler, who performs under the name Shaggy 2 Dope, has revealed something rather startling and at the same time unremarkable. This year's single, Miracles, opened up the ICP to mercilessly scathing ridicule for the unabashed willful ignorance of the song's narrator. The song is an insult to the intelligence of actively, professionally, profoundly stupid people everywhere. And now, Bruce and Utzler have come out as longtime evangelical Christians, reporting that all their music over the years has been aimed at bringing their listeners to God. Really? I know we're not supposed to use this word, but I have to. Despite their substantial success in business and entertainment, these 2 guys are blindingly, definitely, stupefyingly retarded. Well, that's all for this edition of News Undies. Remember, News Undies is normally a weekly show, but we'll be off next week and back on Friday, October 29th with fresh undies. If you see news that shouldn't be news, email your story tips to undies@newsundies.com. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Paul Torville. After that, I might be looking into buying an acre of land in beautiful California Pines. From Robert Pine, perhaps. I can hear the synthesizer in the back of my head. Come on. Chips! The great thing about Chips was when the title sequence, where first they've got the helicopter shot of the freeway, and and they show a few things. Then they zoom in on Eric Estrada and Larry Wilcox. And they zoom in on Eric Estrada, and they've got the little trumpet thing going on. And he's just got that giant toothy grin. He's really collecting bugs in those teeth. And he's just so swarthy and earthy and everything. And it's so stereotypically disgusting. And then they cut to Larry Wilcox, and he's just like, in that Larry Wilcox sort of a way. Don't know. Chips was pretty much always an awful show. Did you know that Eric Estrada never rode a motorcycle prior to being on Chips?